Hello everybody, I'm Joanne Haigh. We welcome our viewers and listeners in Barbados and around the world to Face It and Fix It on CBC TV 8, CBC Barbados YouTube and Facebook, and of course Q100.7 FM radio. Now before we introduce our special guests, I first want to offer condolences to Auli and the Alkins family on the passing of young Rico Alkins, who unfortunately lost his life due to violence, based on reports coming in. He lost his life after an altercation with a number of individuals. And I sincerely wish peace and strength to his family right now during this very, very difficult period. That then drives me now to what's really on my mind, and it's crime. Over the last couple of months, we have seen persons dying at the hands of guns, knives, in a number of altercations. And the question is, what are we doing to wrestle this problem to the ground? And I know that it's not going to go away permanently or forever, but we need to reduce it. There are too many people dying at the hands of guns and knives. And I'd be interested to hear from you, the viewers and listeners, as to what is your take on the current crime situation in this country. What do you think that we can do? Are we doing enough? What about the citizens? Are we helping the police more? Do the police have enough resources in order to carry out their job in the correct way? And also, as parents, what are we doing about our children? Are we focusing more on the boys and not on the girls? Because the boys have a tendency to find themselves in a little bit more of trouble based on the population in our prison. Then we would see it's more males than females. But that also brings me to the question about why are we paying more attention to the males and not balancing it with the females? Because women have a tendency to have a major influence on men. And a lot of these altercations, I understand, talking to some guys on the streets, it's not only about weapons or drugs, it's actually over women. And when one guy is involved with a girl and she gets involved with another guy from another, say, group, that they don't exactly agree with each other, then that is how that starts. And that is happening very, very often in this country. And I'm hoping that we can address it sooner than later. This is Christmas coming up, and I know that the police, they have increased the presence around Bridgetown. They cannot increase their presence around your neighborhood, obviously, so we now have to be vigilant. We are hopeful that we can be joined at some point in time before maybe the end of the year by the Public Relations Officer of the Barbados Police Service, because we have a lot of questions to ask him. And people are concerned about their safety and what can be done and how can we help. So I'm hoping that today you weigh in on it, you call us and you let us know how you feel about the crime situation. What do you think the police should be doing more? Maybe the Attorney General, should we change some of the laws in order to reduce crime? There are questions that so many people have about missing persons. People don't exactly know how soon do you call the police after someone is missing. What is the procedure when you're searching for a missing person? Sometimes you see 50 police officers coming out. Sometimes you see 10. What is it really? What is the procedure? So please call us and let us know how you feel about crime today. But of course, you can call us about anything that is on your mind. Today, we are going to speak with ALISTAIR Alexander, President of the Barbados Association of Retailers, along with VALENTINO BARROW, who he is also the Public Relations Officer, and Robert Maloney, he is the Roving Communications Officer. Together, they make up part of the BARVEN group. So we have, again, with us the President, the PRO, and the Communications Officer. You know that we have some new facilities. The new markets have now been built, I should say, phase 1, which will be the food and beverage stalls that you see in town. And of course, that lovely space that has been cleared of all of the old kiosks that were there, the structures, is now going forward into phase 2, which will now see the construction of the fruit and vegetable stalls, as well as the butcher's block and the car park. But to tell us more about that, BARVEN is here. We know that a new vendor's bill, or should I say a vendor's bill, because it's not new, it's the first time. There's a vendor's bill that has been passed recently. To tell us more about that, BARVEN is going to tell us a lot more about that. So we have a lot to talk about today. Of course, you know our phone lines are open. Call us 228-5563 or 228-5562. If you want to send us a WhatsApp message, it is 228-5562. If you're joining us on Facebook, type in CBC Barbados and you can leave your comments there. So we are looking forward to hearing from you. There's lots to talk about, more than just crime, but right now that is what's on my mind. I'm sure it's on your mind too as well, your safety and what is happening coming up to the Christmas season, when we see people probably behave in a way that that is not desirable, especially when it relates to stealing, etc. So we'll be back after the break with your calls and comments. Welcome back. Now, during the break on my phone, I just received a message indicating, Joyanne, I have 3 Christmas hams that I would like to give to your viewers or listeners, and they will be delivered to their homes. So today, and I don't think that there's the picnic hams they said, so please, it's not the big ones. But speaking of the big ones, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the hams that cost $300 and $400. But today, just like that, got a message. Joanne, I'm giving away 3 hams, 3 Farmer's Choice hams. Sorry for the branding, but that's what they're saying. And we're going to give it away to 3 callers today on the show. It's Christmas, so we're in the spirit of doing things for everybody if we can, or anybody if we can help them, of course. And today is going to be ham day, just like that. So the producer, I'm sure, is a little shocked, but the message just came in that they're going to give 3 hams away and they will be delivered to your home. Now, before you can call us, but before we take your calls, we want to play something for you. It came in on our WhatsApp, very annoying noise, and I'm going to ask the producer to play it now. Now, that annoying noise is the sound of a kite 2 nights ago in the area of Bushall in St. Michael. The fact that someone could record that via a cell phone means that it was very, very loud and people could not sleep. Now, we're hearing always about the noise pollution and the kites. It's not even Easter, it's Christmas. I'm not sure if someone got confused. But I mean, I know there's no special time to fly kites, but normally we do it around Easter. People have called, people have written about this kite flying situation, and people want to fly your kites, but bring them in at night. Other people are sleeping, and from what I understand, the individual more than likely was not living in the area of Bashal. So again, to the maker and flyer of the kite, kindly be a little bit more thoughtful, mindful of what you're doing. You are disturbing people and their night's rest. There are old people out there living in Bashal and not all young people. And people need their rest, and you're being inconsiderate. So hopefully you can stop it, and stop it like now. So if again you want to weigh in on and call us, there are 3 hams. I don't know if we'll be available on Thursday to give away the hams. So you can call us at 228-5563 or send us a WhatsApp message at 228-5562. I'm not sure if the hams are going to callers only. I believe it will be. But you can still WhatsApp us or send your comments on social media to us when you type in CBC Barbados. Now back to the situation on crime. And I asked before the break about how do we search for missing persons in this country? Do we bring in people? Do we ask for help from the public? From time to time, I've seen that happening, but I don't see it happening all the time. So I'm just asking for, if it's consistent, when you're searching for a missing person, what is the procedure at the Barbados Police Service? What do you do? Do I have to wait 24 hours like we see in the movies? Do we call when we recognize that our loved one is not at home in keeping with what they normally do? So for example, if you're normally home at, say, 10 o'clock at night and I don't see you by 12, do I call and will you then send police out searching for me? There are people who are concerned in this country that, as I said last week on my other show, that sometimes you have one set of people doing one thing and they're getting one set of treatment and another set getting another type of treatment. And we certainly want some answers because that shouldn't happen. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, Face It and Fix It. You are on the air.
Peace be unto you and yours.
And to you.
To the staff and to all listeners. The Hawkins, that is Mr. Hawkins who does the shipping?
No, it isn't.
Anyhow, my deepest condolences to the family of those who lost loved ones. Miss Haigh, I'm speaking about the kites. There's a certain announcer who objects with me because of that. It is not easy, especially when you are sick. And then people got babies. One was out yesterday morning, whole day. The bulletin this morning, all in this morning, all last night through the night over my home. I live in Byton Hall. And I know it got to be further.
That's not too far from Bashal, because this person who messaged us indicated they were angry because they use a little colorful language about it, because it's not the right thing to do. God
made two he made 2 things. He made night and he made day. And he said he put us to rest at night. So that means you need to have peace when sleeping. You know, and all through the night, that thing going on and going on and on and on and on. It isn't easy. People say, oh, you're miserable and things like that. You need to get a good rest. You know, and it's sad. Like, they probably can't do nothing about it. They're making all kinds of laws. Do something about this. And the thing is, it ain't paper, because it is plastic. So when the rain falls, it ain't coming down because the water will run off. But it is very sad. People have
been calling for this for the longest time. I think the last couple of years, people have been asking for the police. What is? I don't even know what the law says. We need to find out about the kite flying. We talk about noise pollution, and there's loud music, and you can't play loud music. But again, do they tell you how many decibels and how loud it should be as it relates to a kite? That is also something that we would like to ask the police service when we get them on our show. and hopefully it will be sooner rather than later. Do you have anything else you wish to contribute?
Well, all I would like to say is that I was raised by a great auntie. She said, do unto others as you would like them do unto you. I am not perfect, but what I don't want for myself, I'm not going to try to give to people. And if I'm wrong, and anybody tell me I'm wrong, I'm not here to you because I am wrong. You tell me that I am wrong. If it is anything, I will sit down and I see that it is my fault, I will come and I will apologize. And we need to be more caring and more kind. COVID came and it did bad because we lost a lot of our loved ones, but you see this noise pollution. I feel that if you keep in a shop or a club or whatever, at a certain time of the night, lower the music so that people can get a proper rest. People just don't care. And there's something else that I will say, but I will say because when of course the relevant authorities they come in and then the music go, and then when they go, it start again.
Comes back on.
Hold on, curse and tell them, you because the relevant authorities they come in and then the music go, and then when they go, it start again.
Comes back on.
Hold on, curse and tell them, you do so and so and so. So we tell you we leave and turn it back up. So
no, it's true. Actually, I think that happened a couple of days ago. There was a party in a particular area, and the police, about 12 police jeeps, from what I understand, arrived, and they all scattered and ran. And when the police left, they resumed the party. And again, you know, the police can only do so much, and the neighbors can only do so much. But sometimes people just like to break laws, I guess. Okay,
thank you.
So thank you so much.
To you and your family and to everyone. God bless the Barbados.
God, thank you. Good morning, Face and Fix It. You're on the air. Good morning. Good morning. Go ahead. Don't listen to your television. You're on the air.
Yes. Good morning to you, Ms. Joy.
Good morning. Good morning.
I enjoy your program so far.
Thank you.
And, I must say that I endorse your comments earlier when you spoke about the kite flying. Doesn't really hamper me here in the country here because we don't have anybody flying kites. But I am really in a sorry mood for those folks, the older folks who have to go through that sounding, you know, all through the night. I agree with you that you can lower those kites in the evening and let us have some peaceful rest for those, especially the older folks, you know.
Well, not only old people. What about the babies that mommy just got to sleep?
That is
and
so true.
All of a sudden, you know, the child is crying and mommy has to work. I mean, all of that happens, and then people can't function.
Right, she has to be up, you know, and during the night when it wakes, and then when the time comes for she to get a rest, that woman is still there. It's really unfortunate. And another thing I'd like to speak about is the force. You know, they're doing their best to help others. You know, in the crime situation, but I would hope that they would get the support, you know, from the law-abiding citizens to inform them of things that need to be informed about. And
what do you think is triggering this crime situation? You know, this violence amongst the youth mainly.
I don't want to say that since the situation of the COVID and people locked down and not able to go out.
No, it was happening before COVID.
It's happened long before that. But I'm saying that people are more bold now in their efforts to, you know, to take advantage of others, and you know, they would kill for just a $10, and they would harm you for just a $10. So it's
that's a lot. I know somebody who got killed over, I think it was a quarter.
I tell you, and this is very unfortunate in our country. We have to come together now as a family in every district, in every parish, and decide now to combine our efforts to assist the Royal Barbados Police, the police force, I would say now, and their efforts now to cut down on, because they do rely on us very much so.
They
to
do
solve a lot
they
of crimes.
Do.
They're asking us to help them, and sometimes, you know, I'm not going to put the youth down, but sometimes they are not so much interested in assisting in the force in their program, but they have to, they must, because they are a part of the citizens of the country, and they need to stand up, or not all of us are going to fall down and we are going to we find ourselves in a very, very difficult situation to come.
It's interesting that I would like to know, again, from the Barbados Police Service eventually, and I'm reaching out again because I really want them to come on the show, if they would have done, collected some information over the years as to what the triggers were for some of the crimes that we see, in particular the murders. What was the common denominator? Obviously, various reasons, but talking to guys on the street since the passing of young Rico Alkins, because I know some people that know the youngster, and he used to ride bikes and stuff, dirt bikes, and that was a whole different crew. And again, my condolences to the dirt bike crew as well on his passing. But they are telling me that a lot of this is stemmed over women, and a lot of these vibes, if you want to put it that way, that happened was over women, and women manipulating a situation, and the guy wants to, he want to feel hard. Girl says, I want X, Y, and Z. Boy then under pressure to deliver. He don't have a job. He ends up doing something illegal, or she then goes with one of his friends, and then it starts like that. So again, I would like some attention to talk about that, because I want to hear what parents are actually doing about their girl children when they're raising them. If they raise them to depend on males, raise them to be manipulators. I'm sorry, women, but some of you can manipulate the living daylights out of individuals, and that's not a lie. And then we expect, men to be this and to be that. I'm saying not to do the things that would trigger them off, to create then an environment that allows them to be aggressive. Now, don't get me wrong, there's no excuse for men being aggressive at all. But why then try to push it? Some women need to know that they shouldn't do that, because a lot of what is happening now is because of women from Bible days. When Adam met Eve, who got Adam into trouble? A woman. So what does that say? Men, that mentally you may not be as strong as you would like to be. Physically you are strong, but we need to teach our boy children how to manage situations, how to manage relationships, how to manage jealousy, and we need to teach our girl children about being independent, and not to become a manipulator, and not to become an instigator, as we are seeing in some of these incidents that are occurring in Barbados. When we come back, we will be speaking to the crew from BARVEN, and we will be talking about the markets and all of the nice things that are happening for vendors in this country that I'm pretty excited about, because I come from a family of vendors, so this whole bill and the whole setup means a lot to me. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Face It and Fix It. My next guests are good friends of mine. I didn't know them maybe prior to 2019 or 2020, but we since then became very, very good friends and very close and very respectful of these gentlemen. Because when you meet them, you just think respect. They just have a lot of class and one that you can admire. They're vendors. They know about vending. They know about rights. They fight for your rights. They are not scared. They do things in a manner that is respectful, but yet they always move forward to do what they have to do in order to protect the rights of vendors in this country. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you the president of BARVEN, ALISTAIR Alexander, and the public relations officer, Valentino Barrow. We will be joined by Robert Maloney shortly, the communications officer, more than likely via phone. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? ALISTAIR, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I am good, Joyanne. It is always a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you.
Okay. And Valentino, my friend, how are you? Mr. Cool McCool.
I'm in good spirits. I hope you are as well.
I am in good spirits. I'll be in better spirits probably later today as I celebrate my 52nd birthday in a few hours. So,
Wow.
well, I'm hoping to wake up tomorrow morning first, and then I will give thanks because it's in a few hours. So yeah, I'm in good spirits, and I'm very grateful and humble. And always good to be in your presence, as you well know. So I did not get to read the bill. Let me admit to you, I didn't get to read it. But I want to start off about this bill and how important it is and how long in the making it took for this bill to get where it is. I don't know who wants to start first. President?
Well, again, let me say good morning, blessed good morning to all in the hearing of our voice. It is such a blessed time for us, period. We are in a, I don't know, the words really do feel me. The emotions are overwhelming. We are in a very, very historic period and shift. And I thank Almighty God for bringing us here. Let us first say, let us thank God for our republic, for our new head, our own head, to move ahead, to get ahead, to stay ahead. And it is a gift of God to me that the first bill that should be passed in the new republic would be the vendors bill. BARVEN says it has been said in the House that Hillary Beckles said this, but it is actually BARVEN that said, through my creation, said that vending is the mother of all black economic enfranchisement in Barbados. The historians, such as Sir Hillary, have educated us to this fact. And this has been 333 years in the making. We have only played our part. BARVEN has only played its part. We have called for such a legislation from the beginning of BARVEN. We have also called for such a policy as we have right now, as have been made law in the bill. We have been calling for this for over a decade. And we are very pleased. We are very, very pleased. The response of the political establishment has been no less than overwhelming. And if you hear the speeches, you will see that many of them themselves are the product of vendors. It reminds me of one of the standards of vendor's anthem that I wrote, where it says, let my best hand forget all its function. Ever I forget the hands that carried the tray, that bravely bore the stress all to make us the cream of the crop, such as yourself, Joyanne, the cream of the crop, the pick of the day. Carry her cry from these streets, children, to your brothers in Powers Hall, for justice my asking who calling. Help we to help she to call. And those, the children of independence, the children of my vendor, have powerfully and impressively and bravely, they have bravely come to the rescue of the mother of all black economic enfranchisement, and has given vending its rightful place in the economic landscape of Barbados.
Wow.
So it's been long in
A
coming.
long time coming. But
Long in
I
coming.
know change is going to
Hard
come. Listen,
Change is
before
going to come.
change is going to come. Before we move
see
on to
Val-
you, Valentino, we're going to take this call because we promise our callers a complaint that they don't get in. So let's take this caller. Good morning.
Hi, pleasant good morning to you and all the gentlemen who are listening from the vending community.
Good morning.
Thank you.
There are three of you
Good
all out
morning
there,
to
right?
you.
Okay, listen, I'm going to be quick. I'm glad to hear that this thing have been put actually in action and everything is going well for you all. However, I have a question. Have any of you all gentlemen ever witnessed or saw or know of a person in a wheelchair, a blind person trying to navigate the sidewalks and fall off by trying to navigate, the edge of the sidewalk by falling off? Any of y'all ever witnessed that? Is that a yes or no?
No, not me.
Okay, good.
Never.
Listen carefully. It happens, right? My question is this. Does this bill give them more power to continue to block the sidewalks or respect a part of the sidewalk for the disabled community? The reason why I'm asking that is this. Before, even in town, not only the vendors, the sidewalks have these mannequins and whatnot here to navigate it as a disabled community only gone there, must be 2 weeks ago. It was very low-keyed. So my question, are you all going to explain, make sure these vendors, well, all of them don't do it. I must say that. But sometimes they have, certain situations where these people cannot navigate. And it's very heartbreaking. And I want to know what you all are doing about it, if you're going to see a difference from today onwards, or from the first day when you all implemented, or when you all got the rights. So is it giving them more power to say, well, I got power now, so I can now steer more, because they were doing it before they had the power? So that's the question. I will sit back
All
and
right.
listen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is something that well, I'll let you address, but we can get back to Valentino in terms of your thoughts about the vending, but for the sake of the caller and the respect to respond, I'm going to ask you to respond to that, because the headline that we saw in some of the publications out there could be misleading. People feel that the bill now means that you could vend and just vend anywhere you want. And that is not necessarily accurate, because people are not familiar with the bill as yet, and they should be familiar with the bill. So you want to respond quickly to this caller, and then we can just get back to the actual bill itself and the making of it.
Good morning, Joy. Good morning,
Good morning.
Barbados. Good morning, CBC staff. The bill does not give you the right to do anything you want or to be sporadic. One thing that the bill also entails, outside of protecting vendors within zones of vending and other areas, is also it seeks to regulate the sector. All consideration will be given for everyone. whether it be on the sidewalks, to take consideration for the patrons or the pedestrians that are passing, so they wouldn't have to step into the line of traffic and endanger themselves. As well as all consideration will be also given and make sure there's a means to protect those, there are means to protect those that are challenged from the disabled community, whether they're wheelchair bound or just probably blind. So all those considerations will be all those things will be taken into consideration. And as we say, it does not give vendors the right to do wrong.
Okay, so when we saw in the paper that you will not be arrested, or should I say treated as a criminal for vending in this country, but you will be given time to do the right thing, and 30 days, etc. Is that, lead me here, guys, because I didn't get to read the bill, and I don't even want to take the clips from the newspaper. I want to hear it from you guys out of your mouths, because you helped shape the bill. Is this not true? In terms of BARVEN
Yes,
had
it is
input.
so.
Okay, great. So
Very much so.
I'm going to leave that with you to explain then.
BARVEN's input is all throughout the bill. And from the inception of BARVEN, we have insisted on order. We have said that we have confessed that there are disorder within vending. We said that this disorder was so because vending was outlawed. And basically, that is how we saw it. And in the attitude of the establishment, we were not considered, as far as supervision is concerned. We were looked at in the area of law enforcement, and that was it. There was no business plan towards vending. We speak of a business plan, a business type of understanding. Which business can develop in disorder? No business develops in disorder. Any business structure has to be orderly and has to protect, has to respect not only the laws of the land, but also have to respect those that the other stakeholders at any level. Okay? So we are clear. In fact, it reminds me, I went someplace, a business establishment, to purchase some things for BARVEN, and a gentleman engaged me, was very pleased to engage me, and giving all back into the sector and to all that we have been doing. And he said to me, we started to talk, and I told him, sir, this bill does not give vendors the right to do foolishness. We will not allow it. Okay? Because you have to also protect other interests. Everybody have their interests, and they have their right to defend and protect their own interests. And I was saying to him that justice is balance. Anytime you have anything that is not balanced, it is not justice. And the vendors cannot cry out for justice for themselves and don't want justice for others. It makes no sense. And he said to me, you're right. He said when a carpenter has built a house, he looks at it from different angles. From different angles. Right? He looks at it from the front view, the side view, left, right, back, and then he is satisfied that yes, I have done a good job. It has the right balance. And let us be very clear. Right now, to be truthful, you don't know, Joanne, I do not mind being controversial to do the right thing. And we will have to face elements within our own sector, within our own constituency. We will have to face it and fix it. There's a lot of chaos in vending at this point in time, especially because you see now the highway, people are coming onto the highways. You know that our position has always been that vending must be done in a safe manner, and that the highway, with the speeds which vehicles travel on the highway, that is a totally unsafe situation. And we will have at some point to remove this situation on the highway. We have vending zones. We did call them vending villages. Government calls them vending zones, right? That will be established along the highway, that vendors can carry out their honorable trade out of the path of danger for themselves and their customers. That is how we are going. But at some point, those persons who have come onto the highway, not because that they are wicked people, they are looking to live. They are looking to live. And, when we're dealing with social issues and we're dealing with humanity, it don't be very simple. It don't be simple. These people are looking to live. But we cannot continue in a situation where we have an abundance of chaos. So we will be facing that. We will be facing that, and we will be calling on the authorities to clear the highways at the appropriate time. And we will be then placing persons who are interested, whose interest is in vending. We'll be placing them in these vending zones that would have been created. Okay? The same will happen to Bridgetown. There's so much vending. There's a lot more vending in Bridgetown than when we started the organization. Again, people are crowding into Bridgetown because truly, vending is a mother, and they are looking to their mother to have a little bread on the table. But we don't know. Everybody knows that if you put too many in the boat is capsized. And all the spirit. And we will not allow that. So even in Bridgetown, there will be a situation where we will have to face it, right? Face the overcrowding numbers and fix it, right? And fix it.
Well, before you go on,
I have also seen situations that actually, Joanne, let me say it before I conclude. In fact, I'm concluding now. But up to Friday, gone. I was passing through Swan Street. I just went to buy something, and somebody said, "Look at the president is here, right? Look at this confusion here, right?" And I actually had to intervene to solve a situation with turf war, and because some would be thinking at this point in time that they have rights, they can now fight for space. This will not be allowed. Thank God they listened to my voice and the voice of reasoning, right? And they respected my decision, and they behaved themselves, and they came to a reasonable and equitable solution to the situation.
What are some of the things that vendors would experience before this bill? Because I didn't get to listen to all of it, but I heard one or two ministers, MPs standing up and talking about police coming and arresting a vendor. Is that something that used to happen where a vendor probably could have been arrested for vending in a space that he or she should not be in? I'm getting a little, right, thank you. Is that what kind of problems do vendors encounter from the police?
Well, I remember back in the days, as I mentioned in Parliament, when I was a young lad on this Fairchild Street with my granddad, I would notice people in flight, running hard. And obviously they're trying to take the away with them, the produce, and I'm seeing things spilling and whatnot. too young to understand to a certain degree because I never experienced it at that time, what was going on. But when I asked and I realized the police is behind these individuals, and I asked my granddad what is going on. So he said, well, they don't seem to be permitted to sell there, and so the police dealing with them, you know. But I remember asking myself, if such is the case, why they have to be dealt with in such an atrocious manner? Because I could hear words being expressed by the force at that time, members of the force, and in my opinion, some were treated rather brutally. And then, I don't want to make it seem like I have witnessed so much, but I can remember another occasion when, as I said, I was on my way to the Polytechnic, and I was passing the bridge, and I saw some vendors in flight again. But on this occasion, I saw the produce being tossed into the wharf, and some being kicked and trodden upon, obviously destroyed by vehicle traffic and all that on the road, on the bridge. And I asked myself, I always knew from a child I liked vending. From a little boy, I came on trying to create things, whether it be art or that's what I'm selling. It had that in my blood. So although I was pursuing what I was asked to and what I felt I had loved as well, vending was always my thing, or selling things was my thing. And when I witnessed that, I said to myself, wait, if I become a vendor, this is going to be my end. I mean, it was not a good sight, and it's still here in my memory. And then I read in the paper and I've heard about so many people being taken into the station and given a charge. In other words, they actually have committed a criminal offense just by vending to try to make ends meet, try to take care of the children, the self, the household. So those are the couple of things that I have witnessed in vending, as how vendors were treated back then.
Well, would it be fair to say, because we don't know, I mean, I don't know, that maybe they were warned before and then basically this is what happened, but before we get a response to that, we're going to take a break and then we're going to come right back and we're going to get an answer for that. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Face It and Fix It. If you're now joining us, we are speaking with Mr. ALISTAIR Alexander, the president of BARVEN, that stands for Barbados Association of Retailers, Vendors and Entrepreneurs, and he is joined by Mr. Valentino Barrow. He is the Public Relations Officer for BARVEN. Now, before the break, we were talking about what would the police do and some of the problems that they would encounter, and I asked you if it was a case where people were warned and then had to move. But I want to expand on that a little bit, because with this new bill, if I set up outside of Cave Shepherd's door on the sidewalk, what would happen to me? Do I have
You will
to
be
get
removed.
right? How and
It
when?
will be removed by the police, right? Let us be very clear that this bill is not allowing anybody to just set up any place. No,
Okay.
police will still come and remove you if you are set up in a place where you should not set up. Right? We are creating a situation where you are accommodated. We speak specifically of Bridgetown, right? We speak about the the accommodation of our heritage business accommodation. That is what we speak about. Accommodation means in a place that has been that has been approved of. That is what it means. You can't just go and set up any place.
So would I need a
It is not.
permit?
It will not be
Would
allowed.
I need a permit to
Yes, you
vend?
will have, of course, all vending as much as possible will come under a licensing regime. There are those who are for vendors, and they have voiced their opinion that there should not be no licensing regime. We know that they mean well, but it is wrong. Licensing does not mean that a person will not have the opportunity to, but they have to pass through a legal system whereby they understand not only that they have rights, but they also have responsibilities. So a license will be given with the understanding of certain boundaries within the context of how you are able to operate. Okay, so we are about that. I again yesterday it was drawn to my attention one of our members selling at a business place for a very long time was forced out of the business place due to tariff war, right? And where there is no licensing, where it's a free for all. Generally speaking, I have found that the bullies are who triumph, and you have that kind of person being involved or carrying the that particular trade. You have that situation. My brother and I, we were some of the first persons in transportation, private transportation in this island, and we saw how it moved, so to speak, from the decent type of person being involved to the lawless type, lawless mind. And I'm not afraid of saying that.
As we know,
Okay.
and this is why, not crossing you. This is, give me 1 second. This is why we love you and respect you, because you speak your mind respectfully. But I do have to take a quick break, just for 1 minute, and we can come right back and we can continue this conversation with ALISTAIR Alexander and Valentino Barrow. We'll be back. Back to Face It and Fix It. Before the break, we were speaking with Alistair Alexander. Mr. Alexander, I want you to continue. I hope you haven't lost your train of thought. Continue. We were talking about, yes, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, it is obvious. I like the name of this program, but right, you have to face it before you fix it. You have to face it to exactly what is wrong, what is the problem. I think, let me say, we thank very much the previous caller drawing to our attention, right, the need to make sure that we include the disabled, right, in this whole program. These are the things that are very, very important in society. Okay, that we give respect unto the least of our brethren, and we therefore have to make sure that whatever we do on those sidewalks, I believe that we should share the sidewalks as much as possible, as reasonably possible, okay? But we must pay attention to the fact that such persons as disabled persons must be able to move smoothly, as you know. Because
Alistair, when you say share these sidewalks, you want to explain that so that we don't people don't misunderstand you, meaning that you could be on my store here and you on the sidewalk blocking my store. I'm sure you don't exactly mean that.
No.
I'll give you a chance to explain.
No. There is street vending. Street vending is everywhere. And the street vending is, I would say, the most iconic aspect to our vending. And visitors love to interact with vendors on the street. Therefore, if you are, and there's not many places in people feel that a million people, so to speak, can vend in the city. The city is very small, right? And let me put it this way: if only 4 people can hold on the street, okay, reasonably hold on the street without causing unnecessary impediment to the movement of persons, or blocking any person's store windows, right, store fronts, then we would, I'm sure that the new vending committee would consider a license for that location. But it has to be a situation where, in any case, if there is, let me put it this way, a store owner probably could go into some type of arrangement with a vendor. I think that's possible, you know. But those are things that would have to be agreed on. Okay,
this means you'd have to drive the communication, because there are vendors who would set up and don't communicate with the store owner, and then we know the end result is a front page story.
Right, that can happen. That cannot happen. And so therefore, let me be very clear. We thank all the different interests. They can always approach BARVEN. Those who have concerns, most of the times the concerns will be legitimate. We would just want to balance it. But vending, street vending is so iconic, so cultural, so sweet, right? So much a great part of the, I would say, the tourism product. They love. I remember a time in the past I was there talking to a police who was for us, and as we were conversing, tourists came up to us and asked us where the vendors are. And we laugh, right? But everything has to be done, as the scripture says, decently and in order. I believe in the Bible, and I know it can't be wrong. That is my opinion.
So what type of rules we would find in this bill that we could say that are new? A few that you may want to mention, because let's just say, because let's say you know right now the environment we're in, massive job losses now because of COVID. So you know a lot of people are going to are taking to the streets to vend. So we don't want now that after this program that they feel that they could just go there with a tray in town. So there's some changes, obviously, some structure that was given. What are some of the things that were put in place for the benefit of the vendors, I should say, as well as for the public?
Yeah. I'm having difficulty,
Oh,
a little difficulty hearing.
all right.
Let Valentino.
Valentino,
take
what are
that
some
one.
of the, okay,
While I
you want to
sort
take
out,
that one?
while I sort out,
Your audio, that's
yeah, while I
okay.
sort out this technical situation.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. Valentino?
Yes, as you say, it seeks also to regulate the sector. In the olden days, a lot of people found it hard because they were unaware. They didn't have an avenue in which to gain legal status in vending, as to get permits and so on. And it was hard back in the days. People that sought permits for years, many years, they have never gotten any, and a lot only acquires those due to BARVEN's intervention. But now it's laid out in the new policy. And my advice is to people who are thinking about vending, or those predominantly who are already in the sector. The onus is on you to get access to a copy of that legislation. Make yourself aware and be armed. Know your rights and also know your responsibilities. One of the criteria that is set up in the vending bill is, of course, you have to take certain steps, follow certain protocols. First one, and most important, is to make an application stating your intent, what it is you plan to vend, and if it is on a permanent basis, an occasional basis, whether, in relation to fairs, function, charitable events.
So this is everywhere, anywhere, once it's street vending. This is not only related to Bridgetown. This is anywhere.
No, it's not only related to Bridgetown. This
Right.
is national, so this is
National,
across the board.
Anywhere, okay.
Yes. Let's say, for instance, there's a fair going on, or a fiesta, and you have to vend. You have to acquire, and you want to vend, sorry, you have to acquire a license. And there's a procedure you follow, and you state, obviously, what it is for. Okay, there's a fair going on, I want to sell XYZ.
Do
And
we know
obviously
which
the fair
ministry
is-
that falls under? Because I'm not sure. Is it
And that falls
Commerce?
under the Ministry of, as far as I know, I'm aware of, it falls under the Ministry of Agriculture.
Agriculture, right across? Okay.
Agriculture, because many of these licenses, in respect of the manager of markets, have to be dealt with via that office, because he's responsible for the markets and slaughterhouses. He's not responsible for fisheries.
No, and
And
then
it's also-
that's, NCC is responsible, I think, for oysters.
Right.
Yeah, so it
He is
varies
also
depending on which section, which part of the
on the
island.
section. He's also responsible for things like vending zones and all the setting up of vending zones. When a vending zone is designated, it's also protected. You cannot sell within a certain proximity of a vending zone. It has to be given permission by the landlords of the land. For instance, you'll find that a lot of people will come into well-known facilities, areas that vending goes on, but they were not going to be there on a daily basis. They only come in the lucrative hours, the lucrative days, during mostly Friday and the weekend. But they're already vending somewhere else. They don't have a license for vending on that particular premises, but they know that they could get up there. But what they're really doing is cutting into those people who are legitimate and who also waste the opportunity to, how should I put it, make the most of the weekend, probably to prop up the rest of the week that was failing and wasn't so productive. So you have to follow the criteria. You state your intentions and you present it, you apply it to the relevant authorities, and you obviously await a response. If the zone in the area in which you intend to vend or you have your eyes set upon is not a vending zone, it's more than likely you might not get permission to sell there. But if it's investigated, and like if you're selling from your home, it may be allowed. But you still have to follow the rightful
procedure. We are also now joined by Robert Maloney, the Roving Communications Officer of BARVEN. Thank you, and ALISTAIR, you're back with us too. Thank you. Robert.
Yes, please.
How are you?
Yes, pleasant. Good morning. I'm fine. And what about you, Ms.
I'm
Joanne?
good. I'm good. As I told my friends, because they're my colleagues and my friends, I turn 52 tomorrow, God willing. So I hope that Valentino was call me early in the morning in ALISTAIR. So I hope they'll call me early tomorrow morning for other reasons, is to wish me happy birthday. Yes, Robert.
Well, happy birthday or belated birthday to you as well.
Advance. Thanks, Robert.
Yes,
Robert, we were talking about the vending and the legality of it and the new vending bill. And a question came up on WhatsApp here from a viewer asking if people are allowed to vend, is it legal to vend on the highway? I know, ALISTAIR, you mentioned something pertaining to it, that they're going to address it. But is this a legal practice, or people who we see now on the highway right now, are they there illegal?
Is that question to myself?
Yes, are you, Robert? You can answer.
Yes, I could elaborate on that. Well, at this present moment, we know that it would be illegal to sell on the highways or anywhere in Barbados without the relevant permission. But due to the present economic climate and conditions, we know that many persons, also including the COVID-19 pandemic, we know that many persons have been pushed to the brink, as we can even say now, to the brink of the highways, where they have to come now and ply their trade in order to provide for themselves, also their families. But as the legislation, the 2021 National Vending Bill speaks of, is creating vending zones that we could alleviate this rising problem. We don't want to have persons in the line of danger of passing traffic. We know that it could be a little dangerous being on the outskirts or the skirts of the highway. So the vending bill addresses all of these concerns, where I just heard the PRO alluding to it, mentioning of the vending zones. So once these vending zones are constructed, well, these would be safe areas, safe zones, comfort zones, where anyone that wishes to ply their trade along the highway would be able now to make application to the relevant authorities. And once given permission, then they would be able to ply their trades within these designated vending areas, which again would be provided with all of the latest and more modern amenities, bathroom facilities, running water. It would be more aesthetic, more pleasing. It would have a more better tourist attraction. So there's a lot of benefits that can be derived from those persons who wish to vend along the highway. So what BARVEN would be doing, we would not encourage persons to do it. But under the present circumstances, well, we understand what it is and why persons would be pushed to the brink of the highways in order to provide for their family. But what we would ask for, yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish, because we're going to take a break after you just end off there in a minute. We're going to take a break, but carry on.
Yes, so what we would be asking persons to do that, tell themselves that they must do it, and it's the only option that they have at this time, is to be very, very, very careful, to consider not just the money, but to be considered persons' lives as well, and not just their livelihood. And if they could find somewhere that is much more safer in the meantime, until these zones are constructed, then they can apply. So. Yes, but we know many persons will say, while the grass grows, the horse starves, But if they could find some place that is more safer and more convenient, well, I would recommend that they do such.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, a question on my phone asking if you have to pay for that application, if there's a fee. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Face It and Fix It. We are speaking with ALISTAIR Alexander, the president of BARVEN. We have the public relations officer. We have with us Mr. Robert Maloney now joining us by phone. He's the roving communications officer. And before the break, I got a message asking these applications, applying for a permit or license, if you want to call it that. Is there a fee?
No. Absolutely no fee.
Good. So you make your application. You have to let them know exactly where you want to vend, or what if I want to vend and I don't know where? Can they recommend or say, well, look, after these safe zones are set up, you know, there may not be space in certain zones, maybe a little bit better than other zones based on the fact that more trafficked areas, because you know how it is, everybody wants the areas that you got access to more people. So if I don't know where to vend, or should I say I've been turned down by in this zone, vending zone number 1, then I am given a list of where I can ply my trade with this new bill? Or is it that if I'm turned down, then that's it?
Well, that is a question. First time I heard it, you know.
Okay.
I don't know if the others have been studying about that, have heard it before. But we assume that that you would be applying to a particular zone, you know, to vend in a particular zone area, right? But that's a very good question.
Yeah, because we got to look at that too, because we have the Fairchild Street Market, and people call and call and call. They want a spot, they want a spot, they want a spot. But as we all know, there are no more spots in that particular space right now. So I'm saying that when you have these zones now, you may end up in a similar position of that of Fairchild Street, where someone now wants to be in this zone, but they can't be. And because we have to give them somewhere else because there's no room. Because remember, ALISTAIR, at least I would believe, I could be wrong, but about over 50% of the persons who have been retrenched, lost their job due to COVID, hitting the streets or home trying to sell something right now. Vending is the biggest thing right now in this country. Would you agree?
True. It is true. It is very much so.
It's on the front burner. It's the biggest thing right now in this country.
My officers would be aware that in 2008, I think it's 12 or 11, right? I wrote an article for Business Authority, Barbados Business Authority, and it is almost prophetic, right? It is almost prophetic. It is something else, right? And where I did say that vending would become this in any crisis, right, for the nation, okay? And I was really trying to prepare us to be ready, you know, and not now be scrambling to control things, right? But that we would have had a plan in already orderly rollout of any situation of the eventuality that vending had to be expanded to this level, right? Right now we're gonna have to push back some of the chaos, and that I wish that government going forward would really listen. They listen, they say they're listening, but oftentimes when it comes to implementation, it's a different story altogether. And even speaking about that, we are very clear that this policy, that this cannot be just left on paper, but we have to put in all the necessary infrastructure and the management necessary to make this a beautiful reality. We are going to the full development of vending. We will do what is necessary. We tired hearing people speaking about this country does this and that country does that, and we behind. We want to be leaders. We want people to come here to Barbados and see models that are out of this world. This, even the spring garden, or sorry, let us call it by its rightful name,
The
the
mighty
mighty
grinder
grinder Haigh.
highway,
The mighty
yes.
grinder Haigh. He visited us Saturday. We were so glad to see him just pass through the market. It was beautiful.
And you didn't call them.
But
You didn't get the pictures. I would love to share that. And I got anytime that happens, you need
no,
some.
no,
You need
no,
someone
and
wants to get through to you right now. If you could give us a second on the
yes, please.
phone, let's take this
Yes,
caller. Good morning, Face It and Fix It. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am.
good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to bring to the attention the vendors on St. Michael's Road. That is an accident waiting to happen. There are so many vendors there now you have to walk in the road in front of the traffic. So I don't know if all these people had permission to be there. I don't know if you can answer this question for me. But it looks serious on St. Michael's Road.
Okay. Maybe
Thank you.
Roving Communications Officer, PRO, ALISTAIR, want to take that? Because that's a complaint from many, not just that one. The crowding.
Thank you.
As I
The
said-
Roman Communications Officer, Robert.
Robert, can you take
Let
that?
Robert
St.
speak.
Michael's Road?
Yes, but before I go any further, I would like to wish everyone a happy transition from independence to republic. I had forgotten that at the onset. So I'd
That's
like to
okay.
wish Barbados happy transition to republicanism. Yes, and speaking about the crowdedness, again, as we saying, you cannot have law without order. As the president has alluded to, these was the problematic situation that we saw could have been developed if the vending was not properly organized and regulated. But as you had also mentioned, due to the recession, due to the retrenchment, and now with the onset of the COVID-19, many persons have been forced to come up and take occupancy anywhere that they can in order to take care of themselves and their family. But with the new legislation, what would be one of the most instrumental parts of it or functions of it would be a database where we would be able now to track how many persons can reasonably hold in any particular area. Also, along with that database, we would know available spots that would be available in case a person would like to become a member of the sector. So all of these are things that we are cognizant of, we are conscious of, but again, it is not vending as usual. It is not what we could say life as usual. There are many things, unemployment, there is the COVID-19, there is all of these factors that are now contributing to the present state of our country as well as our economy. So we would find it being in this this granule state or this fractional state where it is a little disorganized. But this is exactly what the vending bill tends to remove, this disorganization and bring order. But you know, along with the law, you must have order. So order is one of the prominent factors that we can look forward to from this vending bill. So all of the concerns that person have, you can't say it would alleviate all, but we would try to look to alleviate as many that is reasonably possible. Again, the president have also mentioned that the true development of vending cannot take place in Bridgetown. Bridgetown can only reasonably accommodate so many persons before it becomes unprofitable. We do not want it to be saturated, as the caller just mentioned, that there are so many vendors right now that you can't even seem to come out your door of your store, et cetera, even just for the pedestrians walking along and through the byways and the ways of the Bridgetown. So again, these are the negative elements that have come from those things that I have mentioned. Not that because that we as the vending organization wanted it to have developed this way, but due to the ongoing situation, this is what we find ourselves in, and it was very timely of the Mayor Motley administration. And I would like to send a very warm thank you to the Honorable Minister Carrie Simmons for having a vision and being visionary to join with the vendors and our organization to bring order and to bring something that is not just temporal, but something that can benefit not just the vending community, but also the nation long term. So this is our goal, this is our objective, and this is our vision, that through this new vendors bill, all of the negative trends and situations that persons can see, and we do identify, that is why it is face it and fix it. If you had to mention all the problems of the vending community, well, we would be writing quite a few books. Right, but we're looking now at this vending bill and the work that the organization have already put in place to look to minimize as many of these problems that we can.
So will we now see moving forward? Will we now see moving forward vendors and the overcrowding and the government offering some additional space for these vendors that are currently occupying some areas in the city? Because if you have overcrowding already, the next step then would be to rectifying that, would be to offer, and note I said the word offer and not move them as, you know, a forced move, offer them spaces that they can continue to ply their trade and still don't have the overcrowding. Is that part of what we will see moving forward?
Yes.
Well, let me
go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. P.
Yeah, Robert. Thank you, sir. Yeah, let me say that we would like to see the vending committee, which will manage all of this, will manage the distribution and will manage the development of vending. We want it to come into being as soon as possible. All the negatives within vending will not be tackled or solved overnight.
Wait, Alistair, before you, when you said a vending committee, the bill allows then for this committee to be set up. It's not set up as yet. This is part of. Okay, and who will make up the? When I say who exactly, the positions, will that BARVEN will have a say within this committee? Or you're not sure?
Yes. So I'm sure that BARVEN will have a seat. Have different stakeholders. We are about a social pit, okay? And the vending committee would I would embody really a social partnership at the grassroots level. Let me put it that way, right? That reaches down to the grassroots level, right? And therefore, we know through the policy we have, the plans that we have, that we are going to remove not some but all, long as everyone play their part. We will remove all of the negatives within vending, but not in a day, right? We will be working, rolling out these things systematically and deal with what we have to do. I want to put also on the record, I remember this hasn't started, the overcrowding in start. I remember when Robert Maloney, the Roving communications officer, before this avalanche, so to speak, of vendors, right? He would be calling me, Mr. President. We will be speaking to government to limit these numbers, to give licenses, cut it off in Bridgetown. And they have been saying yes, but they have been doing nothing. And sir, I am seeing the streets becoming overcrowded.
This is the end result.
And he would complain to me all the time, week after week. He would remember, right? So we did try to prevent.
Is this equivalent to taxi permits, you would think?
Yeah. And let me put it this way too. Remember that if you have too much of anything, there's a simple law within commerce that speaks about the law of diminishing returns, right? That if any factor, if you add too much of one factor, right, they have a time that you will have diminishing returns, right? It will become unprofitable. That is what it's saying, right? And you can have a situation where you have too many vendors, and then the income that is being brought in through the vending
You gotta chop up
doesn't
that pie in too many pieces.
can't add up.
Can't add up.
Can't add up.
But
Right?
we
So
gotta
these are situations we want to block. Quite already is happening, to be truthful with you.
But
And
this
let
is
me
why I'm saying
say
it's important
before I
to fix that part, because it makes no sense giving people a license if they can't make the money, and to just throw
Of
them
course.
all in one space and knowing
Of
that it
course.
could be like a cutthroat.
Of course.
I mean, even though we said that's what business is, but not like that, not to that extent where it's not fair to the
No.
vendors. But I'm gonna have to
but
take
no.
a quick break here before
Yes,
we
please.
move on. When we come back, we could continue with that, but I also want to touch on vending and sanitation, health and vending when we come back. Welcome back to Face It and Fix It. I am speaking with BARVEN, the members of BARVEN, the president, the PRO, and the Roving communications officer. And before the break, we were talking about the overcrowding and having to not unfair the vendors by just saying, here, just play your trade there, and then giving away another 300 in the same space. They would not be able to make money. So I want you to continue to sort of clarify that a little bit more as to how we're going to rectify that. How soon will the committee, the vendors committee, be in place that will then help to address that problem? And then we're going to move on to sanitation and vending, which is something that I am very passionate about.
Yes, Joyanne. While we speak of the monetary benefits that can be gained from the playing of our trade, what I would like to touch on is also the spirit. It is something that we must not negate. The spirit.
All right. Go on.
Yes, that within the vending community, although we have been under a lot of pressure for many years and was not able to really maximize, it shows the spirit of the people that even if we have just a rice grain, we are always willing to share with our family and with our neighbors. So it is something that we continue to cherish within the vending community. We know that the money is important, but we know it is much more important that lives are important. So while we might not be able to carry home the big amount of money that we probably could at one time, it is good within the community to know that many more families are able to carry home something and feed their family. So as I say, it is good to be at a table eating food, a table full of food by yourself, but it is even better if you have company at that table sharing that meal with you. So that is the spirit within the vending community, that you could see it being how it is, that vendors are really not fighting against each other, although many of them might be selling the same commodities. Because we have come to that realization that while my family have to eat, other families have to eat also.
Understood.
Right.
Understood.
Yes.
Understood. So we want to, ALISTAIR, I'm not hearing you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I was saying, within the context of alleviating the problem, right? We always speak of in Barven. We always spoke of a comprehensive approach. In fact, the our document, our main document, which is Progressive Solutions for Vending, a national approach, always spoke of a national approach, a comprehensive approach to the problems. What, therefore, we did, we offered ourselves as a as that ship that boldly has gone, where no man has gone before, and we are on the mighty grinder highway. We are that prototype, that vending zone they call it. We call it a vending village. We are that prototype that is to be rolled out even in other places, including on the highway. Okay, so we have active plans to be able to take all of that congestion that Bridgetown cannot
Did anyone say
afford to have,
how soon the
cannot afford to
committee?
have.
Because I know, and I know you know that things can stay on the paper very long on a bill, including if it passes, it could pass. Many bills have been passed over many years. I want to know how soon, do you know how soon the committee will be put in place? How soon can we see action? I mean, I know it's Christmas and all right, people doing their own little thing, but certainly by January, I would imagine.
I do believe so.
Yeah, Valentino, you believe? Okay,
I believe
think,
that
well, I hope
the
so.
active full effect, all the wheels in motion will start to roll come the beginning of the year, because still you have to put, you got to get everything put in the framework of things and all the considerations made. And I do believe that it will get going full steam ahead between January.
With your personalities, with I don't want to, but listen, if you guys get to know ALISTAIR, Robert, and my friend Valentino, rest assured that that committee gonna get put in place fast. So I don't have to worry about that. We got a caller, and then I want to go on to sanitation because that is a major issue with the vending community, and we want to discuss it. But we'll take this call quickly. Good morning. You are on the air.
And to you as well, ma'am. A blessed day to you as well. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes. I'd like to make a contribution here, and that is the first one is about the kite flying. My suggestion is that the police look, we have the drone. They can set up a blade, very sharp blade on the drone and cut those. What they can do, they can have, like, say, a curfew. That's how we have the curfew for the persons when they're going out at a certain time to get back home at 9. And they can have a curfew for a kite that they should be out of the air by X amount of time. And then what the police can do, they can use their drones, set the drones up with blades on the wing, and cut the kite down from out of the air, and that's it. And they
just maybe just shoot down the kite with the drone.
No, don't shoot. No, you wouldn't shoot them. You cut the cord. You can set a blade on the wing, sharp blade, so that when the drone go across the cord, it will cut the cord. You see, and that will sell that. And person will understand that across the country, what the position is. If it don't get done by 9, then that's going to be the result. That's it. That's the first one I want to suggest to the police to do. And then you would have that confusion all the time. That's the first thing. The second, and what will happen is Barbados will not be able to say that we are getting rid of our tradition, because then you'll still be able to fly a kite. But there will be a deadline to the time that they're in the air at night. That's the first one. The second one is, even though I appreciate what the minister has done with the vendors, because the vendors have to eat and they have their families, I see a problem. That is, if you want to face it and fix it, and you couldn't fix the confusion of the vendors on the sidewalk before you had the laws in place, how are you going to get that confusion fixed now that the laws are in place? Because if you're going to put laws in place, you should also have regulations to coincide with those laws, not put laws in place and then come back later on and say you're looking for order. We've had this conversation.
But you gotta put the laws in. You gotta put the laws in place first, sir. First, sir. You can't do it the other way around.
But no. But what I'm saying to you is, if you did not have the laws in place and you couldn't fix the confusion, the order, you can't put laws in place and then try to fix order, because the laws and order goes hand in hand. Just like a person driving on the road, they give you a speed limit. So there is a limit. There's an order.
But you have to put laws in place first, and then you have to enforce the law.
But
What happened before that? There was no structure to vending in the way that it has been brought now by BARVEN and the government. So they're now bringing structure to it. They put it in a bill, pass it in law, and then we're going to make sure, because you have something to go by.
No, but I'll say this to you, ma'am.
Crafted better.
Let me say this to you, ma'am. If all of these years you could not get that fixed, you cannot get that order. You were looking out for another 20 years to get that order into. I believe what the government should have done first is to look for set up locations for the vendors, so that you wouldn't have so many people bunching in one area. You should have locations set up around the city so that there will be an orderly situation taking place. Not all these people who are going on, because then people will complain all the time. Because then you cannot get that order in place now, because then you can't move them over and say, well, no, because they say, well, look, vendors have permission to set up. So how are you going to do that? So I'm saying, if you had it all these years and you couldn't get it fixed, how are you going to fix it now if you got the laws in place? How is that going to be done? So
I know these guys want to bong in here for that one. Go ahead.
My view is that the government will have to look eventually for locations so that the vending areas will be set up. So you wouldn't have it this way. Because people come here and say, well, all the time. They've been there for years and been doing business there in that particular area. How are you going to get them moved?
Because you have laws now that will make sure that they're no longer going to be breaking the law, and you have zones now that you're going to set up to make sure that we don't have the overcrowding. I believe that was all part of the bill, but I will let the gentleman who do this every day answer that question.
Joanne, I'll say this to you.
Yes, sir.
I wish them well. I want the vendors to eat and drink as well. But you must
Me too.
remember, but I mean, we have to live in this country. We have to eat and drink. There are number 2 years about it, and unemployment is very high. But I'm saying that I can see difficulties coming on with this situation now. I can see that. Because if
see confusion.
If you've been doing well in the area for so long, so many years, it's going to be difficult to tell people move from here now. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that they should have locations and so on first, and then you let the people, so that when you make the law, that order and that position, those spaces are there already. That's all I'm saying. Because
all right.
you're gonna have problems.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. We just see it a little bit different, but much respect to you.
Right, thank you.
Thank you to ALISTAIR, or who wants to,
Yes.
President, I think you might want to lead for this.
Yes, I understand the gentleman's concern, That is what we have been saying. That we tried to prevent a certain amount of chaos, right, from developing. So we won't be speaking against what he is saying. Life is this. Life is a messy thing. You know, everything don't go as you would like it or should go. What do we do? You know, after you've done spilled the milk, it doesn't make no sense just stopping there and crying. You have therefore to do something. And BARVEN is always about moving forward. So we are very thankful for the bill. We know that if BARVEN had been listened to before, that the bill would have found the vending community in a much more orderly situation. But we have it here. All we have to do is to face it, Joyanne. I love this program. Face it. We have to. What situation we have now, we know where we are going. We have all the tools to go, right? And we have the vehicle to go where we need to go and the tools to build. And therefore, we have to get to work to doing it. And that is why we are saying, you're quite right, we want to see the vending committee put into place
quickly,
as soon as possible. Quick. And we will speak to law enforcement, all the different players. And we are going to come up with a plan, and whether it be controversial or not, because we are going someplace. It is not like before, where you were
it's very
excluding
different
vendors.
now. It's very different now.
Very
I know you
different.
know that. It's very
So
different
we-
now. But I
So we have to
want to.
do what is necessary.
All right, let me just read this to you. Last week, this came in. Joanne, I heard you speaking to the media that person should not urinate in public spaces. Well, I saw a woman, not a man, expose herself and relieved herself behind the new market in Fairchild Street. We should, they're saying here she should be charged with indecent exposure and anyone else for that matter. Now, this came in last week, and I wanted to have it addressed here with you. Now, I did say that to the media when I took them on tour and the markets, the old one being removed. And I really cannot wrap my brain around any human being who chooses to relieve him or herself next to somebody's macaroni pie selling in a stall. So, on that note, what are we going to do, or what are we doing about this? And maybe the committee can possibly look at the public spaces in terms of persons urinating and defecating in public spaces, and particularly with the food and stuff, and make it a ticketable offense. I'm not sure if it is. I'm not sure if it's legal to even do that in public spaces. But if it is, maybe BARVEN on the committee could make sure that if someone is caught relieving him or herself in any of the markets, then that person should be, fined at least. Your thoughts?
Well, Joanne, Valentino Barrow has strong views on these matters, and also including health. So I will let him take this sector, this section of things.
Valentino, you and I go hold hands with this one. I hate to see it.
We're definitely married on that one. I can say this. As I told the president, there are always two sides to the coin. Everything cannot be on one side, and I made him laugh, and I told him my hands taught me that. You know what I mean? A gentleman in the Caribbean from Grenada, some say he's mighty. He had a song, a beautiful song. He had a song. Education is called. And it says this is the foundation. And that is one of the things you can try to do, to educate the population to certain things, to get them to a standard where their minds will perceive certain things as truly not right, not morally right, not proper to do. That is a task, that is one. But we know we still ain't going to get all. We're not going to get them all. So far, since the new facility has been opened, I have seen some things, yes, similar to what the lady saw. And I remember Friday was there, and I heard something drop around. I saw a guy, he threw a piece of foil paper on the ground. And I said to him, sir, that's how the rats start. Well, I got the unholy blessing. Right? So there are always people that have that mindset. They don't care. And they don't usually have to be under the influence of anything except not being sensible in the situation. And yes, I wonder what can be done about that. I'm not aware if there is a, if it's how should I put it, if it's anything that will bring a ticket or any offense to do such. I know it's an offense to expose yourself in public, but that would got to be caught or have witnesses, to substantiate such. But I think that something must be done, whereby we try to educate the people, put some eyes on the thing, try to make the people feel, how should I put it, wrong for doing such. Make them feel bad, to put it in terms, make them feel bad for doing such things. But that's one of the things we can try. But I know for sure this is an uphill struggle. We will come and we want to give people better, and we do. Despite how long it might take or how hard the toil. Other people come and they take it for granted. So what are we going to do? I think that's a matter for discussion, and an urgent discussion at that, because we do not want such a facility to be immediately getting that stigma.
Or no time at all, because you know what happened in the oil markets, which led to the dismantling and cleaning up, which led to giving, new homes, I should say, new business homes, new kiosks. Why would you want not to take pride? And that's the other, this will lead me into the other things about vendors now. And the fact that, I'm not speaking about all, because we know that there's some that take pride in what they do. But we want to see vendors behave in a way. This is a business, and it's your business. It is your setup, your bread and butter. And if you even allow, I'm not saying that the vendors allowing it, but there's some that don't say anything. They side of the stall and they don't say anything, and they should.
You're so right, and there are various reasons for that. Some people just don't care. That's one of them. Others have a lot of fear. Because, and fear is not relating only to physical harm or anything like that, person getting unduly angry and offended. But, you might tell a fella saying, and, you're depending upon his dollar, you might be spending a pretty good penny. So, you're hoping that he won't do it again. But more likely, you aren't going to tell him anything because you're fearful of losing his patronage or her patronage. So there are many reasons that these things are allowed to thrive within the people's mind. And we said people are complacent, and it could be categorized as such. But there are also many other factors that are involved. But I think what people need to know is that at the end of the day, it's the taxpayer dollar that goes into these projects. And as I said, if you don't pay for it now, your generations ahead will have to pay for it. You're a free lunch. So you have to take pride within it as well, and see it as a part of your investment, and try to take care of it. So I think that education is foremost here. We will try, we could think about some signage and stuff like to try to deter people on that. But we can mostly try to appeal. But
you being kind of Valentino, because for something like that, and I want to eat food in your market, that's zero tolerance for me though. I mean, you can be warned, but if you do it, I think that you should be, the fine should even be heavier on that of speeding and because there's people health. This is, I got to eat that food. I got to,
I'm agree with that. But look, we have had dumping all over the country, and we will put up the signs to that effect, X amount to that for those who found this and that. And yet I will still see on numerous occasions that is one of the places that have the most garbage, especially around Christmas time, right side of the sign. Boom.
Oh, I saw that people actually dump right underneath the sign that says, do not dump.
These things? That's another thing. Who's going to police these things?
But there are cameras inside of the market for those of you who do not know. Is that correct? The new market. There are cameras.
Yes, we have cameras.
Unfortunately, someone asked via WhatsApp earlier about bathrooms in public spaces. I want you to mention in about a minute because we're running out of time. The facilities, the bathroom facilities in the new market.
But presently,
Go on.
presently we have three. One is predominantly for staff, and the other two are supposed to be for John Public. But unfortunately, only one is available to John Public presently because the market administration, they're utilizing one for their purpose. So we have one for the staff where the staff have
Which
keys.
should be the
are
vendors, which should be the vendors
Yeah,
themselves.
that's also have a bathroom in it. So we took sanitation to the highest. It's just something you be on the premises too long, your feet, you need a fresh. You don't go around home, you know what I mean? You can take care of that right there. And the tenants have the keys. And then the public one, that's there for the patrons. And eventually, when admin block has been constructed, you will find that the one to the east will be also made available to John Public.
Might I add, though, that, and a good morning to the young ladies, hopefully there'll be some men involved too, but I was told that men don't clean bathrooms, and that is not true, because I believe that there's some jobs available for the people in the city. Because I have to wrap up quickly, that the bathrooms are being looked after. People have been hired to clean the bathrooms after people use them, but that does not give you a license to go and do what you want in the bathrooms. Gentlemen, I am so sorry, but I'm still being told that we have to say goodbye for now. And we will definitely pick up this conversation again. I want to thank all of you. Robert, I want to thank you for coming in on the phone. ALISTAIR Alexander, the president, and of course, Valentino Barrow, the public relations officer, president, public relations officer, and Roving communications officer. I thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure. Indeed.
God bless
Thank you so
Barbados.
much. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so we will be taking a quick break and we'll come right back. Thank you very much to our guests for joining us, and we certainly look forward to hearing them again soon. We have some WhatsApp messages that we want to send out, read to you. At least two of them we want to at least share. The first one, I believe, is, if we can put it up, the WhatsApp message about CXE, and another one about Bendon. And when we get that, on the screen, we will share that. It says, "Good morning, Joyanne. The CXC Cape results were released on October 15, 2021. Usually within a week or so, the list of the Barbados Scholarship and Exhibition awardees are announced. So far, this has not been done for 2021. This is unfair to the students who are awaiting this announcement. The public should be informed about it. What is the delay? What is delaying this process, and when the awardees would be announced? We are hoping this was being delayed to coincide with the celebration of the new republic, but not so. How long do we have to wait?" That message will be shared with the Ministry of Education. We'll make sure we forward that to them. And another quick WhatsApp message says here about vending. And when it comes up on the screen, we'll share that in a minute. In the meantime, I want you to tune in on Thursday when we have the Most Honorable Dr. Anthony Gabby Carter. He will be here to share his experience of COVID and some things he wants for us to know on his experience and what not to do. This WhatsApper here says, this is vending of another kind, the machines. Can the bottling companies and their agents please put water and soda water in the machines, please? We suppose not to be using, I'll just reread that. We're not supposed to be using much sugar, but we still get thirsty. So again, that is a plug. You know, we just came out of No Sugar November, and that's why people should be putting some healthier choices in the vending machines. So let me just remind you on Thursday, my friend Gabby, the Most Honorable Dr. Anthony Gabby Carter, will be here. He's going to talk to you about COVID. Remember, COVID is still with us, and we're asking you during the season, please follow the protocols still. Wash your hands, distance, take a vaccine if you can. If you can't, well then, you know, please adhere to the other protocols as well, that we are still in a COVID environment and this pandemic is still on. Well, I'm going to have to leave you now until Thursday, God willing. It is my birthday tomorrow. Yes, I'm telling the world I'm 52, God willing, tomorrow. People have asked, what are you doing, Joyanne? And all I said was, let me wake up first, and then let me decide what I'm going to do for the day, because nothing is more important, in my opinion, than your health. And if you're healthy and you're here, then you get a chance every day to recreate your life as much as you want to through God. So I'm hoping that through God, I will be here with you again, God willing, next Thursday. My name is Joyanne Haigh. This has been Face It and Fix It. Until we meet again, God bless.